ready with the next race now. This will be the Masters 40 to 49 men, 500 metres. They're just calling the athletes to stop rowing. And once those flywheels wind down, be ready to get under with this race. So I believe this one will be Adam picking up, if I'm not mistaken, but I may be mistaken.
No, you're not mistaken. It is the dulcet Northern Irish tones kicking through for this 500-metre race. We've had a false start there. This is quite a packed field, 15 competitors in this heat for the men's 40 to 49 500 metres. Interesting one, given that yesterday would have been qualifiers for Henley, starting the campaigns for many. But instead, they're here giving all they've got. And in this one, they are off. Be interesting to see how they go. And there we go. In the living room, as goes 500 metres. He is seeing it through a good start there. Looking quite smooth and relaxed in the technique there. Yep, keeping the hands ticking over. Good pacing. And in through the first 100 metres, it's Matthew West leading the charge. Split there 1:16. Bear in mind that the British records are on the 1:15 mark, I think, for the 40 to 49 group. Coming in second is Cameron Brown from the USA. And then John Goodall. Well, it's a close third between John Goodall, Roberto Guy, Richard Flaxman. It's all very, very close as they come through the halfway mark. And Matthew West still holding down a really good, strong split, 1:21, putting himself out into a good advantage. Be interesting to see how he holds this through the second half of the race. Cameron Brown from the USA, he too is holding his own, and it's a real fight for third place as we start to approach the final 100 metres. Matthew West going up in the rate at rate 40, 1:21, 1:22. So really should be seeing through this last 100. Cameron Brown looks just to have hopefully consolidated, but we've seen where it can all kind of go wrong. But he has there Matthew West coming through, 50 metres to go. Cameron Brown holding on to second, but he's dropped off a pace slightly. He's pushing back, but it really is now getting very close for the second and third finishers. Cameron Brown and John Goodall looking neck and neck. And John Goodall's come through to take second. And Cameron Brown, 0.3 of a second provisionally, separating him in third from fourth place, Dean Keeber. That was an absolutely fantastic race to watch and really impressive there.
40 to 49 500 metres. So our opportunity to see the real best of this field battling it out for the chance to become British virtual champion.
Yes, this should be a really, really tight race. Looking at the times from the heat yesterday, we've had about 5 or 6 athletes only separated by 1 or 2 seconds in the low 120s. It's going to be fast and furious. There's quite a few names that we recognise in here. And shout out to John Goodall, who's usually part of our commentary team at the British Rowing Indoor Championships, long-time indoor rowing competitor. And commentator, and been very involved also in the coaching setup as well with the MAD team. You can see him there in ergo number 4. If we get any close to the records, and this one is going to be super, super impressive. The British record for the Masters 40 to 49 is 1:15.4, set by Rob Smith, the MAD team indoor rowing club back in 2017, and the joint record is 1:13.7. held by 2 separate athletes. So if we're getting close to either the British or the world record for this event, that would be super impressive indeed.
For 1 or 2 strokes, let alone for 500 metres. But here we go. The race just about to get underway. So I'll hand you back to Camilla and Will.
Yes, well, we better join this one right now. We're at attention because it will be over before we know it. We are underway with the Masters 40 to 49 men's 500 metres. And if you take a look at those numbers on the right-hand side of your screen, the numbers that are in double digits, so your 37s, 55s, that's the stroke rate per minute that these guys are going off at. And the number just to the right, that is their 500-metre split. So that is their projected time for the end of this race.
Yes, so we're going to see some of those athletes going off really, really hard at the start. And then we'll probably see the times just slipping upwards just a little bit. It is Matthew West who's just poked himself out in front at the moment, pulling a 1:19 split. We saw some of those splits off the start, and the ratings were up into the 50s, which is absolutely astonishing.
Finn Corcoran, though, is negative splitting this. He's come down from 120s to 119s. He's even pushed down into a 118 for just a second there from Project HOP. He's a former GB decathlete. He's got former form in the international stage for triathlon. So lots of power there to give. With 100 meters to go, Finn Corcoran really now starting to press on ahead of Matthew West, the initial race leader.
Yeah, we talked about athletes who might be able to go faster in the final from the heat. Finn Corcoran, definitely one of those. And we're coming up towards the finish, into the last few strokes, and provisionally across the line, it is Finn Corcoran, about half a second ahead of Matthew West. A big improvement there. Scott Exley from Great Britain crossing the line in third, but so tight between all of our competitors. See just a handful of athletes all finishing around sort of 125, 126, 127. So really very small margins in that race.
Yeah, we did see another step on, didn't we, from most of our competitors there from yesterday's heats. The winner there, Finn Corcoran, provisionally, as I say, we'll confirm these results, but 1:20.1, bit faster than yesterday's heat, right?
Yes, absolutely. And just take a quick look across, if I can find Finn Corcoran's time. Yeah, 1:23.3 set in the heat yesterday. So more than 3 seconds quicker, almost exactly the same as the B final. So that was our first, we'll see the first medals from that event handed over when we can confirm them soon. Our first 500 metre final, Jack, it was pretty impressive.